Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back, or it's your first time here, welcome to my channel. Now today, we are gonna be doing quite a fun video, if I say so myself. I'm pretty excited about it. I basically rounded up all of my current favorite products from the drugstore, and then I put them all over my face. So the makeup look that I'm wearing right now was actually made by using all of my current favorite drugstore makeup products. So that way, when I talk about all of these products, not only will you be getting some great recommendations, but you're actually going to be able to see the products in use so that you could see why I actually like them. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what your current favorite drugstore makeup products are. Now, I also wanted to say that there may or may not be a little huge holiday giveaway at the end of the video, but I don't know. You may just have to wait until the end of the video to find out. But I would highly suggest that you do, because I think you guys will be really excited about this little giveaway that may or may not be in this video. I also want to mention that YouTube has been having some issues lately where some videos just have not been showing up in subscribers' feeds for absolutely no reason at all. It's a little bit frustrating, but I sort of wanted to just remind you that if you did not want to miss any of my videos, then be sure to click the little bell icon that is right next to the subscribe button that's on my channel, and then just click off the little box that says that you want to receive notifications when I do upload videos. That way you will be sure that you will never miss a video. Either way, I always upload every Monday and every Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is when you should always expect a video from me. So yeah, that's basically it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so let's just begin with the face. I'm first going to take my favorite primer, and it is the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Light Infusing Primer. Now, the reason why I really like this product is because it just gives my skin such a beautiful glow. I find this to be really comparable to the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. Both products just really give your skin a really pretty, like, dewy look. I think a product like this is honestly sort of a lifesaver for people who have dry skin. If you feel like your skin is just looking dull and you feel like you want to give it a little bit of a boost, then using a product like this either before your foundation or even mixed in with your foundation is honestly like the best thing ever. So now moving on to the foundation, my favorite foundation from the drugstore is most definitely the L'Oreal Pro Glow. I don't know why I said most definitely, because it was actually quite difficult for me to figure out what my favorite foundation was. I was really going back and forth between the Pro Glow and the L'Oreal Lumi Cushion, because that one is another one that I love and use all the time. But I did end up going with the Pro Glow just because it does have a little bit more coverage. But this foundation, if you have dry skin, is magical. So now I'm just going to take my beauty blender and just start to blend the foundation into my skin by patting it. And you can see it gives my skin like the perfect amount of coverage, and it has such an amazing glow to it. That is why I just love it. So for my favorite drugstore concealer, it is most definitely the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. Now, this is actually a concealer that I used to really love and use a lot, like back in the day, but only very recently have I sort of like fallen back in love with it and realized why I loved it in the first place. It has really nice coverage, but the consistency is really, really thin, so it doesn't look too thick or too cakey underneath the eyes, but yet it still gets the job done, which I feel like is what everybody wants in a concealer. You don't want it to look heavy, but you want it to cover. I use the neutralizer shade, which does have a very slight yellowy undertone to it. It does brighten just a little bit, but they do also have more like skin tone colors, I guess you can say, which are great as well. So I'm just gonna blend that out with my beauty blender. Like, look how bright my under eyes look. Awesome. So I really wanted to mention my RCMA powder as my favorite powder, but obviously this is not a drugstore product, even though it is a drugstore price. This is like 12 bucks. Instead, I am going to mention an actual powder that you can find in the drugstore that I do really love, and it is the NYX HD Finishing Powder in the shade Banana. And the reason why I like this powder specifically is because it does have that yellowy undertone, but it's not too intense, because if you do have fair skin, using a yellow-based powder is a little bit tricky because you don't want it to look yellow underneath your eyes. Yellow is typically a little bit more suited for those of you who have medium or deeper skin. This one from NYX is really nice because it doesn't have so much of that yellow pigment that it makes it look yellow underneath your eyes, but it does have enough of it that it does brighten still. So that's why I really like this. And the powder is also very finely milled, so it just sits really perfectly underneath the eyes as well. So I'm going to just take my Morphe E49 and just tap this underneath my eyes. And it sets the concealer beautifully so that it lasts all day. All right, so now let's move on to the eyes. I'm first going to take my NYX Ultimate Eyeshadow Palette. Now, this is most definitely my favorite all-around eyeshadow palette from the drugstore. I mean, just look at it. it sort of speaks for itself. This palette just has such a nice mix of both mattes as well as shimmers, and the quality of the eyeshadows are really great. They're very pigmented and blendable and really everything you would want an eyeshadow to be. This is what I'm going to be using today for like the bulk of my eye look, but I do also want to use a silvery eyeshadow on my lid. Is this going to be weird? It may be, but I still want to try it out. So I'm going to be taking my NYX Prismatic eyeshadow in the shade Smoke and Mirrors. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, then you definitely know how much I love the NYX Prismatic shadows. They are probably some of my favorite metallic eyeshadows, and they really do give you that punch that you're looking for when it comes to metallic eyeshadows. I'm also going to try and incorporate this Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette because this is another one of my favorites from the drugstore. I think Wet n Wild honestly makes some of the best eyeshadow palettes from the drugstore at such an affordable price. Before I actually go into my eyeshadow, we gotta prime the lid. So my favorite eyeshadow primer from the drugstore is definitely the Wet n Wild eyeshadow primer. You guys actually recommended it to me quite a long time ago actually, and then I picked it up and I've been using it quite a lot ever since. I don't think I've ever mentioned it on my channel before, but I do use it quite a lot off camera. It has a really nice, almost like tacky consistency, so I do find that it really grabs onto eyeshadows really well. So I'm first going to go into the neutral matte brown in the NYX palette, which is this one right over here, and I'm going to just apply this right above my crease as one of our first transition shades. Let me know in the comments if any of you have tried the NYX Ultimate palettes. They do have 4 of them. The warm neutrals is definitely my favorite, but I would love to hear your thoughts if you have tried any of the other ones. Just let me know in general, like what your favorite drugstore eyeshadow palette is, because I do feel like eyeshadows personally what I'm most picky about, and I would love to know some really great eyeshadow palettes that I should check out from the drugstore. So now I'm gonna go into this really beautiful shade right over here. It's like a warm caramel brown, and on my Sigma E35, I'm going to apply this more directly into my crease. So I'm just going back and forth to give a nice halo around the eye. All right, so now I'm gonna go into a more precise crease brush, and I'm going to grab the shade that's actually directly above the warm orangey shade. It's this one right over here. And I'm going to apply this more directly into my crease. This is just going to add a little bit of depth to the look, and we definitely need it. All right, so now it's time to put that cool toned eyeshadow all over the lid. So I'm going to be taking my NYX Prismatic eyeshadow. Once again, it's in the shade Smoke and Mirrors, and I'm going to put this on a flat shader brush, and I'm just going to then press this onto my lid. And look at that intensity. I did not even wet my brush. This is with a completely dry brush, which is pretty impressive with how metallic this looks. I'm going to take the Smith 253. I'm going to take that orangey shade that we applied into the crease, and I'm going to just apply that right underneath my lower lash line. And I'm going to go into a small little brush. I'm going to go back into the color that we put into the crease, like the deeper burgundy shade. I'm just going to press this up against my lashes to add some definition there, because I do want there to be some depth on the lower lash line. I don't just want it to be like one solid color. So now it's time for probably my favorite inner corner highlight, not just from the drugstore, but just in general. This is the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow in the shade Ice Latte. If you ever dreamed of an inner corner highlight that just blinded people from across the room, like this is it. And I'm going to pat this right on the inner corner of my eye. Nice and glowy. Now I realized that I actually didn't really use any of the eyeshadows from the Wet n Wild palette, and now I'm upset because I really want to use something from the Wet n Wild palette. So I'm just going to take the Brow Bone shade from the palette because I need to use something from it because it's just so nice, and I'm going to use this on my brow bone. So now I'm just going to quickly curl my lashes, and I'm going to use my all-time favorite mascara. This is also my favorite mascara, just generally, not just from the drugstore. It's the Maybelline Lash Sensational. This is the best mascara I've ever used. It is the only mascara that really, truly makes my lashes look beyond amazing. Like, it makes my lashes look longer than they are, more voluminous than they are. It makes them look fake, and it's just the best mascara I've ever used, and it's the one that I always go back to. Like, look how amazing my lashes look with this mascara. I'm so impressed. I just got a huge blob of mascara right over here, so I'm just gonna let that completely dry, and then once it's dry, I will scrape it away. But until then, let's just all ignore it and pretend that it's not there. So now let's move on to the rest of the face. My favorite bronzer from the drugstore is definitely this little duo from Wet n Wild. This is the Mega Glow Contouring Palette. Now, I don't like to use this shade to contour because I feel like it is a little bit too warm, but I do love to use it to bronze because it is nice and warm, and these powders are so smooth and they just glide on the skin. I would say the only negative to this product is that they are extremely powdery. Like, as soon as you touch your brush to it, you're gonna get a lot of powder kickoff. But I mean, it's not a deal breaker. I really do feel like this bronzer is super, super natural looking. So now I'm going to contour with my favorite contour powder, and it is actually from the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Contour Kit. The reason why this is my favorite contour powder from the drugstore is because it's honestly the perfect shade. It's really difficult to find a shade that's this cool at the drugstore. So I'm just gonna apply this right in the hollows of my cheeks, blending it into the bronzer. This is my Sephora Pro Contour brush, by the way. Now for my blush, I actually have two blush favorites here that I wanted to talk about, and I really couldn't choose, so I'm just gonna talk about both. The first one over here is this e.l.f. blush palette. I just love the options that this palette gives you. You have a nice like terracotta shade, a cool pink, a warmer pink, and then more of a coral. So I'm going to take this like warm peachy terracotta shade, which is my favorite shade in the palette, and I'm going to just apply this on the apples of my cheeks, blending it backwards. Again, I would have to say that the only con is that they are pretty powdery. So as soon as you touch them, you do get quite a lot of powder kickoff. So you gotta be really short to sort of tap off the excess before you actually go in. Another one of my all-time favorite drugstore blushes is this Milani Baked Blush. And no, it is not Luminoso. Even though I love that one, this one definitely has my heart just a little bit more. This is Berry Amour. This is a beautiful berry shade with gold running through it. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this and just pop it more on the apples of my cheeks just to give me a little bit more of a rosier look. Now moving on to my favorite highlighter, it is most definitely the Maybelline Master Strobing Stick. This is an exact dupe for the Cover FX cream highlighter in the shade Celestial. They are exactly the same. I already mentioned them in a dupe video. This is such a beautiful, very creamy and glowy highlighter, like sort of gives you like a glow from within type of look. It has a slight pink undertone to it. It really does look very natural, and it doesn't look like you just have like sparkles sitting on tops of your cheekbones. It really just looks like you're naturally glowing, and that's why I love it. I almost forgot to do my eyeliners. Now these are the Pixie Endless Silky Eye Pens. These are my favorite eyeliners from the drugstore. They are so creamy and silky, as the name obviously suggests, and they just really glide on the eyes really nicely, and they also don't smudge on me. This is Black Cocoa. It's a really deep, dark, rich brown shade. I'm just gonna put this right into my waterline. You guys know how much I hate doing my brows, but I do have a favorite brow pencil, and it is from NYX. So this is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Brunette. Now this is basically a dupe for the Anastasia Brow Wiz, probably one of the closest dupes I've been able to find. It is the same like very small and precise micro waxy pencil, and I think it's a really great alternative. So we are almost done now. All we gotta do are the lips. So I'm going to take my Annabelle Big Show Gel Lip Liner. This is in the shade Nude Attitude. Because they are so gel-like, they really just glide on the lips so easily, and they really do last forever. So I'm just gonna line my lips quickly with this shade. And look how easily that just glides on. It's a lighter color, so maybe a little bit more difficult for you guys to see, but it's really great. So now for my lip products. This is another lip product that I feel like I use all the time, like in my personal life, but that I don't think I've ever mentioned on my channel, which I think is really strange. I don't really know why, but they are the Wet n Wild lipsticks. They're so creamy and really high in pigment, which I love. These two shades are my two favorite nudes. So I'm first gonna take this deeper nude called Bare It All. Okay, and now I'm gonna take the lighter shade right over here called Pink Sugar, and I'm gonna put this right in the center of my lips. And then that completes the finished look. So if you made it to the end of my video, congratulations, because I have quite a huge giveaway. Honestly, all of the love and support that you guys show me on a daily basis really does not go unnoticed. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. I just love you guys so much, and I'm so happy that we are building this amazing community here on my channel. It is just always such a pleasure to read your comments, to interact with you guys. It's honestly always the highlight of my day, and I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate you. I really wanted to just give back to you guys. Before I go into the prizes, let me just go over how to actually enter into the giveaways. Now, this is the method that I've used in all of my other giveaways, and I just find it to be the most successful and the easiest for me because I do get tens of thousands of entries, honestly, and it is very, very difficult to track every single entry. So this just makes it a whole lot easier for me, makes it way more streamlined. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to click the link in the description box. Now, all you got to do to be entered into the giveaway is to obviously just be subscribed to my channel. That's it. If you're subscribed, then you will be entered into the giveaway. Just make sure that you follow the on-screen instructions after you click the link, and then your entry will be registered. Now, you could also sort of add up extra entries if you choose. You don't have to do this, but it is optional. So let's say you want to follow me on Instagram, that will give you an extra entry. Follow me on Twitter will give you an extra entry, etc., etc. It's very, very straightforward. The giveaway is open internationally, and it will also end a week from today, so next Monday, and I will announce the winner in the description box of this video, and then I personally will email the winner to get their address. So yeah, those are all of the rules and all the boring stuff out of the way. So now let's actually get into the prizes. So first things first, the winner will be receiving the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette. You will also be receiving a Tartist Pro palette. I also have a little blush set from Tarte. There are 4 blushes here, as well as a really cute little blush brush. A special edition NARS Audacious lipstick in the shade Rita. It's a beautiful red, really perfect for the holiday time. I have my favorite Becca blush in the shade Flower Child, as well as one of my favorite primers. This is the Backlight Priming Filter. And then lastly, I have this Too Faced holiday set. This is the Grand Hotel Cafe set. So there are basically 3 eyeshadow palettes in here, as well as a deluxe Better Than Sex mascara. And then lastly, I have this adorable Tarte eyelash curler. It's actually bejeweled, so it's super cute, and it also comes with a little Tartist mascara. And that is everything that will be included in the giveaways. And I wish everybody who decides to enter the best of luck. I'm so excited to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye.